Hello there. I'm in my camper van and I'm doing a quick review of the new DJI Mavic Mini, which only came out in the UK on Monday. It's Thursday today. I got it yesterday. First impressions are, well, can you believe, like, there's in that little bag, this is a lens, neoprene lens bag that I use for camera lenses, but there's actually a drone in there. Can you believe that? Yeah, let's have a quick look at it. The Mavic Mini, and I'll tell you why I've got it, why I've bought this. There we are. Tiny little thing, not much bigger than an iPhone actually, or it's much broader. Yeah, so there it is, tiny little thing. Like a lot of drones, the Parrot and Naffy, which I've done a review on, which is my main drone these days. Struts pull out. This is unusual, it pops down and round. Down and round, not straight out. And there you have it. It has a gimbal guard, which you take off, which is useful. And there is, comparison, size comparison, if I can get hold of it. Right, there's the Spark on the left, and the new Naffy Mini on the right. And you could say they're about the same size, although this is a chunkier drone. So what's the advantage of the Naffy Mini over the Spark? Well, there are pluses and minuses. I'll go through them quickly. One of the pluses is that this only weighs 349 grams, so it falls within the new regulations that, well, in the UK, and I think it applies in the US as well. Any drone over 250 grams has to be registered. In the UK, it means you got to pay £9 a year, register it, take an online test, which is a bit of a pain. So it's it's absolutely a joke, really, because really that, if you believe like the authorities, the state, that's going to bring down a Boeing 747, but that won't. You know, it's ridiculous. This is all a knee-jerk reaction to what we had in the UK, the Gatwick incident, when the Gatwick airport, major London airport, was closed for at least 3 or 4 days because somebody had sighted a drone. It was never actually proven that there was a drone. Nobody was ever arrested. There was a poor couple arrested who a neighbour reported that he owned a drone and he was a bit odd. So on that grounds he was arrested. Totally innocent guy. So that's the sort of like Salem witch trial state we got in the UK over the drone incident at Gatwick. So like a lot of governments, knee-jerkism rules, and they brought in these regs, and I know there are regs worldwide. I think it's the same in the US and the UK. I think it's a 250 gram weight limit in both countries. But why have I got this? Well, this is my main drone. I've done a review of this. This is the Parrot and Naffy. You could compare it. Not much difference actually. This is obviously heavier. I haven't weighed this, but the Naffy does a lot of stuff that this won't do, and the Spark. This shoots in 4K. It has 180-degree camera. I won't go through the Parrot again, but it's a more sophisticated drone. So why did I get this when I've got the Spark? Well, you could say I wanted a backup, but actually I didn't want a backup as much as a drone which would complement the Naffy, because I've had some incidents lately where I've been out in the field in my van or in remote areas, and it happens with DJI as well. It's a pain. Firmware updates, but also recently I've had app updates on my iPhone, and I've been in a remote locale without any signal, any 4G or even 3G signal. Can't update, and I haven't been able to fly. I lost a couple of sessions on recent vlogs, flying sessions I had planned because of that. So I thought, these are small enough to take with you. Take both of these with you. They pack, they pack up very small. You've just seen this pack into a camera bag. The Anafi packs into that, so it doesn't take much space. So the theory is, if I ever get caught out again with app updates or firmware updates, then I can switch to the other drone. But what's the advantage of the Mini, the Mavic Mini over the Spark? Well, this it shoots in it's not 4K. It shoots in up to 2.7, 1080 and 2.7, whereas the Spark's only 1080. It has a 3-axis gimbal, which theoretically makes it more stable. But as I normally shoot in 1080 anyway, because it's adequate for YouTube vlogs, it's not a game changer, the 2.7 over the 1080. What is a game changer is the battery life. Now, here in North Wales, it varies. The weather varies between breezy and gale force. It's very rare that we get still days. So when they say that the Spark has a 15 to 16 minute battery life, when you're battling against wind, I find it's about more like 10. So it's a very short battery life on the Spark. Now, they claim that the Mini has a battery life of 30 minutes. Well, using the same calculation, I'm not going to get 30 minutes in Wales, but I'll probably get 20 or 22, 23, and that is a big improvement on the Spark. So anybody who shoots vlogs knows that more photographs you take, the more likely you're going to get some good shots. The more footage you take, you often only use about a minute of footage, drone footage anyway, but the more footage you take, the better chance you have of just editing the best footage for your vlog. So having that extra battery life it's a game changer, really, isn't it, having that extra battery. And with 30 minutes or 20 plus minutes, you don't really need an extra battery. You would if you were going away. But for me, I can recharge the battery in my camper van if I'm away in the van. So just having a single battery at the moment with a long battery life is fine. Yeah, so that falls within the regulations. It's funny, 249 grams. It's a gram under the regulations, so quite smart of DJI there. What both drones, DJI and Parrot, are paying for, as I just said, is firmware updates and app updates. When I got this out this morning, I switched it on. It needed a firmware update straight away. So luckily I was home, so I was able to do it at home. But if it had been out in the field, that would have been a bloody pain. If they'd gone somewhere especially to make a video or to do a review, that would have been awkward. And also, another plus of this drone is it's very cheap. I think when the Spark came out, in Britain, they were about 599 quid, I think, with a controller. They've come down now, I think. I bought that on the grey market, which means it came from China, and it was a lot cheaper than, say, Amazon or somebody else. Same with the Parrot. And no, actually, I bought that from Currys, which is a UK white goods, photography, etc. retailer. But this, I bought this on Amazon for $369, which I think is about, in America, the $399. And that's with a controller. So it's very cheap. So it's aimed at, well, they say people coming into the drone field, because it's easy to use, and it uses a new app. It doesn't use the the Go 4 app, which this uses. It uses the DJI Fly app, which is a very stripped down app, very basic, but consequently it's supposed to be quite easy to use. I got it out this morning. I was going to go up to this outdoor centre where I've filmed other vlogs near here, but the weather is awful. We've got winds up to 20 miles an hour. So I've stayed put. So I'm just shooting this in my van at home, and I'm going to, despite the wind, I'm going to give it a whirl just to see, so get me an example of some footage. But yeah, I did take it out this morning just hovered over the yard, and to see everything was hunky-dory. I've put a 32 gig card in, just slots in there, charge it there, you switch it on underneath, same as the other DJI drones, press and then press again and hold. Same with the controller. Where is the controller? Oh, here's the controller. The controller is very similar to the, to most controllers, certainly similar to the Spark. You just fit your phone in there. Don't forget, when you're flying, pull up your aerials, get your aerials out. I actually used to forget, so I actually stuck something on my controller saying aerial. You get these weird little, not weird, but they send you 3 of these tiny USB connectors to connect your controller. Very small. They're very short. Now my iPhone's a Plus model, so it's a big one, and it only just fits in here. I've got it plugged in the side there. That's the part that goes in the phone, and it's quite a tight fit. There is a recess, so I'm just going to leave this on permanently, this little USB lead. As I say, they're very short, just long enough, absolutely just long enough to go in the controller and in your phone. So I'm going to just leave that fixed, but it's a very similar controller to the Spark, and that comes with the drone, so quite good value. What does it do? Well, one thing, a big disadvantage of this Mini, the disadvantage of the Mini over this is one area where the Spark has got the advantage. Follow Me or Active Track, whichever. Which is it? Is it Active Track in DJI and Follow Me in Parrot? I can't remember which way it is, but anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, this has Active Track, Follow Me. This doesn't, which is a real shame, because anyone who makes vlogs knows that Active Track is a really useful mode to have. It does have some basic modes like Droney, Helix. I think it has Helix. And it has Circle, where you can pinpoint a spot and it'll circle around you. You have to go in, I think it's Quick Shot. Yeah, to choose those modes, you have to go in Quick Shot. I think you've got photograph, video, and Quick Shot, I think, on the controller, which obviously comes up on your screen, on your phone. Change to Quick Shot if you want to do those Droney and Circle doodahs. If you have limited space on your phone, switch off cache settings, because it'll store rough copies of your videos onto your phone, and my phone hasn't got a lot of memory, so I must remember to switch off cache settings. Right, so as I say, the Mini is to complement. I'll be using this as well as the Anafi. I'll still use the Anafi as my main drone, but I'll be using this as well. So yeah, in a second we'll go out and give it a whirl and just see, even though it's very windy, and just have a little fly around. And obviously I won't see the footage yet, but we'll take a look and see what it's like. Well, what do you think? You've just seen the footage. I've just seen it myself. So I've got to say, I was very pleased. The conditions are absolutely horrendous here. It's, as I was saying before, in North Wales, it seems to just, in winter anyway, you get from breezy to gale force. And today, it was 20 mile an hour plus winds were out there. And, I mean, this little thing... We're coping with 20 mile an hour plus winds, which was pretty incredible. It was so windy it blew my bloody tripod over. This heavy tripod with my Lumix on blew it straight over. You've probably seen in the footage that the way the trees were swaying in the gusts. So I was a bit concerned, and I also had a little not mishap. I've forgotten with DJI. I'm so used to Parrot recording as they take off. As soon as you take off with the Parrot and Nafi, it starts recording. My first shot, my first batch of film, well, it wasn't a batch of film, my first attempt at flying and filming, I forgot to press record. So I was flying around for about 5 to 10 minutes thinking, great, I've got some footage in the bag. Bloody freezing cold, the wind's getting worse, let's call it a wrap. And I realised I hadn't been recording, so I had to go back and shoot another quick little roll of so I had to go back and shoot another 5 or 10 minutes, which is what you've just seen. So that was very frustrating. So remember, do press record on your DJI drone, whatever it is. Certainly on this one, press record, otherwise you're screwed. You'll be flying around, you'll come back, you'll take out your memory card and your little micro SD card, nothing, which would be very frustrating, especially if you think you've recorded some brilliant footage. Yeah, I've said before about your cache. It stores your cache on your phone, and my phone, my old iPhone, has got a lot of memory, so I've just switched that off because that will clog up your memory. So switch off your cache if you haven't got loads of space on your phone. Yeah, it coped remarkably well in really bad winds. I thought that it was shot in 1080, which I'd like to have shot in 2.7, but I'll do that another time. Perhaps I'll do a separate video with all the different modes. I did shoot a bit of a circle, you've probably seen that, and the droney where it goes away from you. Yeah, I did shoot a couple of modes. It's very sodden out there in the field, and it's raining now, it's pouring down with rain, so the weather is horrendous for shooting a drone video. So first impressions, it's great. It was really good. I'm amazed how well it coped in 20 mile an hour plus winds. It must have been gusting, I don't know, up to 30 at times. The gusts were really hammering in. I say one gust took my tripod clean off its feet. It was going to stay, but it blew its tripod right over. The camera's, well, it seems to be okay. I'm recording on it now. So that's a thing you've got to remember, press record. That is something that flummoxed me at first. I've forgotten all about DJI drones. Always check your firmware update before you leave the house, because if you don't want to be out in the field, find you've got to do a firmware update and you've got no 3G or 4G signal, you're screwed. So do your firmware updates, check it before you leave home. Yeah, good little drone, remarkable value for money, coped very well. I'll certainly be taking it with me on my little adventures. Is it a good drone for van life and outdoorsy videos, the sort of things that I do? Yeah, I'd say great. Even if you've got a drone, you might have a Mavic, a Phantom and a Nafi. Yeah, I mean, 369 quid, it's not a lot of money for a quality drone. I know 369 quid is pounds if you're American. It's not a lot of money compared to other drones for a good quality drone. Yeah, I realise for some people that's not cheap, but if you've got the money and you want to get a backup drone, or you just want a drone for doing outdoorsy stuff, as I say, the only thing it can't do is follow me, which is handy. But if you want follow me, get a little Spark. If that's a real crucial element of your filming portfolio, then get a Spark. Otherwise, yeah, it's great. Really good little drone. And I'll say the battery length, you know, well, half an hour, but I say you're going to get at least 20 minutes. North Wales time. 30 minutes if you're in the middle of an Arizona desert in totally still weather, warm and still. In cold, wet and windy Wales, I'll say more like 20, 22 maybe. But that's still incredible for a little drone. Little light drone that's under 250 grams. So fantastic battery life and fantastically stable. Unbelievable. So recommended. Thumbs up from me.